What's going on, guys? It is Frankie here. Week 12 of the NFL season is upon us. It is time to make some predictions. Let's see what we got in store. We start off with the 3 Thursday night games. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Detroit Lions. The Bills are 9.5-point favorites. How about Detroit? This is a wild story going on here. And I guess we wanted to believe this would happen. We wanted to believe that Dan Campbell would turn the boys around, but we were like, Detroit, we don't know how they're doing on offense. They have a lot of problems. And yet, they've won 3 in a row. They're now in second in the NFC North. Still 4-6. I don't think they're getting a playoff spot, but it's like I'm really impressed with what they've done here. Their first 3-game winning streak in 5 years. They've scored at least 24 points in 7 of their 10 games this year. They have a very strong running game right now with Jamal Williams looking really good here as he's now had the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL with 12, and then we got DeAndre Swift when he comes back. So it's a really exciting time right now for Detroit. It's almost the roles are reversed here. Detroit's playing well, and the Rams are not. With the whole Stafford and Goff trade. It's crazy. But the Bills are still the best team in the NFL to me, at least, even though Kansas City's making a big push for it. They needed this win after the struggle of last week, after just the heartbreaking loss of last week. And they were able to get it done, scoring 31 against Cleveland. They had Devin Singletary, 3 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 games. James Cook, 86 yards on 11 carries. So they were able to get the offense going here, at least on the running side. Josh Allen did not do well in the first half, but came alive in the second half. And Buffalo was able to eke out a win here against Cleveland. I am taking Detroit to cover the spread, though. I think at home, I usually don't take the Lions on Thanksgiving because they've given us so many bad games. But, I think this could be a close game. Obviously, it's going to be a great atmosphere with being Thanksgiving, how famous Detroit is for that. I think the Lions will cover the spread, but I do think Buffalo wins because of the overwhelming talent of Buffalo. But I do think the Lions cover the spread and make it a very exciting game here. Give me the Lions plus 9.5. The New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are 8.5-point favorites. Yesterday was rough. Yesterday was a rough one to watch. Yesterday was a rough day for local New York sports. Just watching the Giants play as badly as they did. And I was so sure of a win against Detroit. I really thought this was going to be a nice win here to keep the season going, keep the momentum going. And this was like every bad thing that we expect from the Giants and more. Saquon had a rough day. Jones threw 2 picks. The first one I think was a better interception, a better play than it was a bad throw. The second one I think was a terrible throw. Overthrew the guy. They have all these injuries on defense. You look at Adoree Jackson and Moru, and they got Wan'Dale Robinson now looks like he's out for the season, and they've got Tyree Phillips and Feliciano both on the offensive line, and Jason Pinnock all off day. So it's like they have all of these injuries right now, and now they got to travel to Dallas. It was just a rough performance yesterday, and really made you question his team. And then you had Dallas, who, boy, did they really, just when you're starting to believe in Minnesota, Dallas comes in and beats the crap out of them. 40 points after how horrible that loss was against Green Bay. To come back like that, to show it as dominant a performance as it was. The defensive line torturing Kirk Cousins, especially led by Micah Parsons. Tony Pollard putting on one of the best performances we've seen this year. He became the first Cowboy running back with at least 100 receiving yards and 50 rushing yards in the same game since Emmitt Smith in 1993. A great game from Dak. Brett Meyer kicked the 60-yard field goal. Dallas looks awesome here. I think Dallas is going to win this game. But it is a division matchup, and I have a strong feeling the Giants are going to find a way to cover here. I think the Giants find the momentum here in this game. I think we are going to see a bounce back from Saquon. Daniel, I don't know about, but I think 8.5 points is a big number. And while Dallas is the superior team and they should win this game, I do see a world in which the Giants make this a 3-point game or a 7-point game. I can see this, or a 4-point game. I can see this being a 1-possession game just because of how competitive these two teams are and the rivalry. And I can see the Giants getting up for this game and at least covering. Not winning, but I can see the Giants at least covering the spread here. Give me the Giants plus 8.5. The Thursday night game, the New England Patriots take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 3-point favorites. The Patriots pulled out a electrifying one yesterday with Marcus Jones returning that punt return for a touchdown. And again, just really putting the nail in the coffin of what was, again, an awful day for New York football. Mac Jones didn't turn the ball over. That's great. That's the only positive I can say about the Patriots offense today, which did nothing. But thankfully, at least they were able to get the punt return for a touchdown there. So that was nice. But it was the defense and special teams that really were the reasons why they got this win. And Minnesota, that was an awful, awful performance against Dallas. The 4th one-loss team after Week 10 to lose by at least 30 points in the Super Bowl era. They're still fine. They're still 8-2, but you do have to worry about are they able to protect the quarterback better than what they did yesterday? I mean, they gave up 7 sacks. Cousins got pressured 63% of the time. Both of his left tackle and his left guard both got hurt. So there's a concern here for Minnesota, but I still think Minnesota is the far superior team. They still have the far superior team on offense. I imagine Justin Jefferson's going to have a much better game than what he had yesterday. I expect a much more dominant performance from Minnesota here at home. I expect them to at least be way more competitive than what we saw yesterday. So give me the Vikings here, -3. Here, I'm going to take them to beat New England, bounce back after an awful performance yesterday, and show who they really are. Give me the Vikings, -3. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Cleveland Browns. The Buccaneers are 3-point favorites. Buccaneers coming off a bye, coming off a win in Germany, coming off a win against Seattle. As the Bucs offense looked a little bit better, they ran the ball better. They had better offensive line protection. And you know what? I'm not doubting Tom Brady right now. I have a feeling Tom Brady, post-divorce, he saw what Giselle's new boyfriend is. I think we're going to see Brady. I just feel like all season I'm like, is Tom Brady really going to go out like this? And obviously he dealt with all the divorce struggles, but now that it looks like most of that is over. I just think we're going to see motivated Brady now. I'm not ruling out Tom Brady. I'm not going to rule out Tom Brady until he's in the coffin. I'm never ruling out Tom Brady ever. That is what this guy's done. So I imagine we're going to see a bounce back from Brady. And then on the Cleveland side, they played well, at least in the first half against Buffalo. At one point, they almost had as many first downs as Buffalo had total yards. They had like 10 first downs. Buffalo had 12. But they couldn't get going in the second half. They couldn't stop the run. They gave up 169 yards. Nick Chubb, 49 yards and 24 carries. So Cleveland got back to struggles here. We are getting closer and closer to the Deshaun Watson return, so that should be exciting and at least an interesting storyline. But in the end, Tampa Bay wins this one going away. They bounce back, or they continue to show what they've been doing here over the last few weeks. They continue their offensive explosion. And again, don't rule out Tom Brady. Give me the Buccaneers, -3. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans. The Bengals are a 1.5-point favorite. Cincinnati, 5-4 coming off. They were 5-4 coming out of the bye, and they got what they needed to do. They got a big win against Pittsburgh. They've already lost 3 AFC North games. They couldn't afford a fourth. And thankfully, with a great performance from Joe Burrow, 4 touchdowns. Nice job on the defense. You worry about what's going to happen with Joe Mixon. He had a concussion. Let's hope he can at least, let's hope it's not long term. Cincinnati is the better team here, I feel like. Tennessee, they did get better. This was a much better performance from Tennessee than we've seen. They were able to get the offensive balance right in this game yesterday or Thursday, as Tannehill had 333 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and you had great performances from Dontrell Hilliard. You had Treylon Burke, and as long as those 2 guys are stepping up, you don't need to worry about what's Derrick Henry going to do. But Cincinnati is the better team. They look better on offense right now, so I'm going to give the edge to the Bengals here. It's a 1.5. This could be a very exciting game, especially 2 teams coming off a win. Could be some excitement here, but I'm going to roll with the Bengals. Give me Cincinnati, -1.5. The Houston Texans and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 12-point favorites, and the Dolphins are coming off a bye, and Houston is coming off another awful performance in which their offense did absolutely nothing except score 10 points, which David Mills is trash. There's no positives here there's no positives here with Houston. None at all. Miami, they're coming off a bye. They're coming off annihilating Cleveland last week. You had great performances from Jeff Wilson, 119 yards and a touchdown, 17 carries. You had Raheem Mostert with 65 yards and a score on just 8 carries. Another excellent performance from Tua, 25 for 32, 285 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was his 3rd straight game with 3 touchdowns. Look. Even if you have worries about the defense, thankfully we live in a world where the offense can be just as explosive and the offense can come through in a moment's notice. 12 points is a big number, but the Texans might be the worst team in the league. And Miami, again, you have Tua competing for an MVP right now. You have the explosiveness that comes from Miami's offense. I think in this game, Miami will pull away. They'll give up a lot of points like they normally do, even though against a terrible Houston offense, this might be their best chance to have a shutdown performance on defense. But Miami will pick up the points that necessary because that is what they do here. I like the Dolphins. I like Tua. I like this whole group. -12. Give me Miami -12 over Houston. The Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. The Jets are 6-point favorites. Chicago eventually had to wear off for them. Justin Fields at least another rushing touchdown, but they could not get the win against Atlanta. The Jets. I swear to God, when they were on that last play before the punt, I was actually hoping and praying the Jets were going to fake punt. I was really thinking, sitting there going, maybe the Jets will fake punt it here. But no, I thought Saleh would actually have the guts to do it. But no, he didn't fake punt. Patriots score a touchdown. I now think the Jets are probably out of it. I think we are leaning toward the Jets are going to be out of it. I don't think the Jets coming back here and having a shot. I think the schedule is too tough for them going forward. But who knows? I'm going to take the Jets to win this game -6, though. So give me the Jets -6. Atlanta Falcons and the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 3.5-point favorites. Atlanta, victory against Chicago, which they needed there. Washington, win against Houston. Defense has really stepped up here, and Washington now could be a playoff contender, but I'm still not totally convinced of that yet. They moved away from Carson Wentz. Now he's going to Taylor Heineke, or not. Ron Rivera's going with Taylor Heineke, but I don't feel like this is an okay game, but it's not like a really. I don't think either one of these teams are making the playoffs. So that's really where the issue comes in here. But I think Washington wins this game. They're at home. They have the edge there. They have the defense. Give me the Commanders -3.5. Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. Broncos are 2.5-point favorites. Baker Mayfield, go away. You are not an NFL quarterback. Russell Wilson, you were an NFL quarterback at one point. Nathaniel Hackett, you're not an NFL coach. Get out of here. Broncos 2.5. Whatever. This game sucks. Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Ravens are 4-point favorites on the road. Right now, who would have thought the thing that's actually carrying Baltimore right now is the defense. The defense looks far better than the offense, and I love Lamar, but Lamar is not really. It just has not really shown it here. Not a lot of scoring here yesterday. The offense, just something is not clicking here with Baltimore, at least as of late. But the Ravens did shut down Carolina. They shut down Baker Mayfield. They didn't allow an offensive touchdown for the first time since the 2020 regular season finale. They've only given up 1 touchdown in the last 2 games. 3 turnovers in this game by Baltimore. 12 straight game in which Baltimore has produced a takeaway, which is the longest active streak in the league. Ronnie Staley is going to miss some time with an ankle injury, so that's going to be a difficult thing for them to overcome. But they are against Jacksonville here. Jacksonville is coming off a bye, and they look better than they have last season against Urban Meyer. I mean, by default, they look better, but they still have a lot of issues. They still make a lot of mistakes. They had an onside kick, 2-3 turnovers, and they couldn't score anything. They had a touchdown wiped out by a penalty, and now they face a very difficult schedule where they have Baltimore, Dallas, Tennessee twice, and the Jets. And we are looking at the Jaguars having their 11th double-digit loss season in the last 12 years, which is wild. And that one year they didn't, they almost made the Super Bowl. It's been a rough time for Jacksonville. It's been a rough, difficult time. I'm going with Baltimore here. If this can't fix Baltimore's bad offense, then nothing will. We'll see what happens. The Ravens are going to turn it around. The Ravens are going to step up, and the defense will shut down Jacksonville. Give me the Ravens -4. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. Chargers, a difficult loss yesterday, but you knew you can't stop Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, you can never kill these guys. Back-to-back losses for the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. They're now it looks like they're now out of the race to win the AFC West. Chiefs now have a 3-game win in that division. And now they're looking at a difficult spot to win a wildcard game. I like Justin Herbert, but gosh, how many times have we seen him make a game-losing interception? It feels like that happens way too much. Happens way too often. And then Arizona, now we don't know what Arizona's going to do. They play tonight against San Francisco and Mexico City, so we don't know what it's going to be like for them. Their last win was against the Rams, which was a win that it really could have used considering how bad the Rams have been. They did not need that to happen there, but whatever. We'll see how the Ravens, obviously, how Kyle Murray is and everything, and Colt McCoy. But Arizona did get the win over the Rams, and now we'll see how it is for them. But I'm going with the Chargers, despite the struggles that they've had this season. A lot of injuries on their front, and now they've lost Mike Williams. He caught 1 pass of 15 yards, and then injured his ankle. He had a right ankle sprain in week 7. It looks like he injured that ankle again, so it could be out longer. Even despite all that, Chargers are the better team. Chargers are the more complete team right now on offense, and I think the Chargers will get out to an early lead, and the Cardinals will not be able to overcome it. Give me the Chargers -3. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 4-point favorites. The Raiders, talk about needing a victory. Talk about needing a victory after how bad of a season they've had. They got the win. Devontae Adams with a huge touchdown, 35-yard walk-off to end the game. 7 catches for 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 catches, 313 yards, and 5 touchdowns from Adams in the past 3 weeks. He joins Cliff Branch as the only Raiders with 3 straight games of at least 100 yards receiving and a receiving touchdown. Max Crosby has had an awesome season, forced a fumble, blocked the field goal attempt in the first half, and then he started off the second half with a sack. Sacked Wilson twice. He's making a case for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think he's going to win it, but he's been making a strong case for it. Seattle coming off a bye, coming off a tough loss against Tampa Bay. The defense has had a little bit of a fall here, at least as of late. They started off struggling at the beginning of the season. Then they came roaring back here in the middle part of the season, and then they fell apart last week. They allowed Tampa Bay to convert 10 of 15 third down tries. And Tampa Bay just ran the ball, and Seattle had nothing to stop them there, nothing to show for it. But in this case, Seattle is the much more complete team. And Gino, even though it was a rough game against Tampa Bay, I expect that they're going to bounce back against the Raiders, against a bad Raiders team. So I'm going to say that happens here in this spot. 4 points doesn't seem like that much, and I think Seattle will cover. Give me the Seahawks -4. The Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 14.5-point favorites. This should have been such a much more exciting matchup for at the beginning of the year. Remember 4 years ago, Rams Chiefs, and how that was one of the greatest games we'd ever seen. And I'm sure this week we're gonna get tons of retrospectives and highlights and oral histories about that amazing Monday Night Football game. But this is not that. The Rams stink. Their season is over. I don't know what the hell happened, but everything that's gone wrong has gone wrong. Stafford had a concussion problem. Stafford had a concussion. He was evaluated for that. They're not doing anything offensively, defensively. There's so many issues. They're now 3-7 without Cooper Kupp because and Stafford lifts the game. You have Kupp. You have all these things. They did have a good game on the running side yesterday. They did have 148 yards, which made up for the 68 yards that they've usually had throughout the year. But it's just been a disastrous season for the Rams. Nothing has gone right. The Chiefs. I mean, what can you say about this team? What can you say about Patrick Mahomes, who I think Mahomes is now the MVP frontrunner. He's now the clear MVP frontrunner. I don't know if he's going to win it, but it is now in his control, and it is now up to him to keep that MVP. And we'll see if he does that there. But that last drive, that was just pure Mahomes. You never would. How many times have we seen this? 30 seconds ago, Chiefs got to go to length of the field or whatever it is, like under 2 minutes. Doesn't matter. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Travis Kelce. It's Kansas City. They will find a way. They always find a way. And right now, they look like they're going to get the 1 seed in the AFC. They're up 3 games again on the AFC West. Mahomes looks like the best player in the league right now. Kansas City, it is them and Buffalo switching back and forth between them as the best teams. It's tempting to pick the Rams here because that's such a big number, but the Rams are going to mean nothing to make me think that they're going to cover the spread. So I'm going to take Kansas City. I'm going to take Kansas City going away here. Give me the Chiefs -14.5. The New Orleans Saints and the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are 8.5-point favorites. The Saints are now going with Andy Dalton at quarterback. Thought about going with Jameis, but Dalton responded with 3 touchdowns yesterday. We had a solid game from Chris Olave, the rookie. 100 receiving yards, including a 53-yard touchdown. Dalton had a career-high passer rating of 149.6. So that was good there. The Niners are coming off. We'll see how the Niners play tonight. They're in Mexico. They have the Chargers. They had the Chargers last week to win there, and that should have been a dominant performance against the Chargers, and it really wasn't. They struggled defensively, and the offense had trouble getting points, but eventually they figured it out. Kittle, what do you get? He got targeted just twice for 1 catch. This is another game where the Niners are the better team, and the Niners are more complete, and we're going to see a lot of McCaffrey and Kittle and Jimmy G and the defense in this game. But I still feel like it will be the Saints will cover because again, 8.5 is a big number, and Saints have been playing well as of late with Dalton and with the receivers that they have. So I think that we're going to see and Taysom Hill. So I think we're going to see the Saints cover the spread here. It's going to be a close game, but the Saints cover. But I do think the Niners will get the win, just based off of their talent and their skills they have there. So I have the Niners here winning the game, but I have the Saints covering the spread. Give me the Saints +8.5. The Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. Green Bay season's over. Green Bay stinks. There's a lot of difficulty, mainly that Green Bay doesn't have a receiver, but Aaron Rodgers especially has not really stepped up this year. I don't know how much longer they're going to go until Jordan Love, but I mean, I feel like I've seen enough of Jordan Love and just like whatever. But at this point, it's like, what else can you see? What else is there to look forward to right now for Green Bay? It has just been a disastrous season. Eagles, that would have been really tough for them if they had been the second team to lose to Jeff Saturday and they had lost back-to-back games. And losing Dallas Goedert really hurt them. But thankfully for the Eagles' sake, they found a win. Jalen Hurts with the rushing touchdown there. They did not have anybody to fit the place of Goddard, as Stroll and Gassetera both were ineffective that day. In fact, they actually hurt the team. But Hurts got the rushing touchdown late. Eagles won that barely over the Eagles, or over the Colts, excuse me. The running defense struggled for a good part of the game. But again, it is Jonathan Taylor. But they struggled early on in the game. They allowed Taylor to roam 49 yards and a touchdown in the opening possession, but then they stopped him for 35 the rest of the way. So after being annihilated the last 2 weeks, it was nice to see them bounce back here in this game. And I say they will continue that here. 6.5 points. Hurts playing like an MVP that he is. And the entire Eagles offense will come through. And Green Bay will struggle because that's what they've done all season long. And I have no faith in this Green Bay team. And I have no faith in, again, not even Rodgers. I don't even have faith in Rodgers anymore. He should have left Green Bay. If this is what they were bringing back to, he should have never come back. Give me the Eagles minus 6.5. And the Monday night game, Steelers-Colts. I'll take the Steelers here. I think the Jeff Saturday experiment will. I think we'll see some struggles here on Monday night. But whatever, both of these teams are out of it, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I am taking the Steelers plus 2.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, like to see, make sure you subscribe down below. I'll be back later this week with more videos. I'll have a football video. I'll have an NBA video out tomorrow. I'll have some more football videos later in the week. Maybe some baseball stuff. Who knows? I'll have some World Cup stuff coming up, so check out for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Take care and God bless.